All right. So I'm going to continue from this. Here we go. You should not bear false witness. You should not steal. We're stealing from each other. Big time. You know, we steal from each other. I've been watching YouTube videos where you got this, you know, in the hood, you got this sister right here, and at the gas station, dudes is just trying to jack her car. You know? And it's just casual, too, because they didn't have a gun. They didn't feel like they needed a gun. They feel like it was easy pickings. You know, where she actually had stopped them from doing it. But in the video, you can see in the black neighborhood, in the hood, how casual theft is amongst black people, right? So the theft, how casual that iniquity is amongst us is outstanding. It's just amazing how lack of regard, the low regard that we have for one another in terms of each other's belongings, in terms of each other's things, our mindset towards one another, and the people who are around us. They have no shame in their game when it comes to thieving and stealing from one another. Okay? Because if you're gonna kill somebody, if it's just that easy just to go up and just kill another black person, then it's very easy to do the rest of these commandments, like to break the rest of them. Okay? It's nothing. Like, they don't care about commandments. They don't care about someone else's livelihood, how you're harming someone at all. You know, but the problem with that I find very weak and hypocritical amongst black people is, like, if you're going to be a thug, go all the way. Don't ask for mercy when you in court and they give you about 100 to life for killing 3-4 people up in the house. Don't start crying. I see Negros up in court getting sentenced at high numbers, and then they start breaking down crying and going crazy. Like, they got a choice in the matter. Like, they've been done wrong. Nobody owes you anything, black people. Nobody owes you a damn thing. You walk around like the world owes you something. No, you lost a war because you disobeyed. Now, if you lose a war, nobody owes you anything because it got taken from you. You got this shit twisted. Excuse my language. You got it twisted because they go and they take you. They take your stuff. They take you away from your homeland. They rob you. They take your stuff from you. But you want to play big, bad, and bold amongst your own people in your own community. And you don't want to face the ones who took from you in the beginning. You don't want to face none of these white people who took from you in the beginning. But you beg them for a stimulus check. You begging for reparations. You're a beggar. You a coward and a punk. You're like one of the lowest levels that you've ever been in humanity. The world looks at you and shakes their head at you. It says that in the Bible. You're a laughing stock. Especially since you don't go all the way with your transgressions and iniquities. And it also says here, you should not bear false witness. We all know you bear false witness. In fact, you got that so twisted up that you tell people don't snitch when you doing all the iniquities and stealing from somebody and shooting somebody up who was innocent. And it doesn't matter whether they're innocent or not. We shouldn't be doing that to one another to begin with. But you want people to stay quiet so that you can continue your iniquities. So you continue murdering, killing, robbing, stealing, committing adultery. All of that stuff. I mean, it's really bad with you. You don't deserve justice. Justice is not given to you. Justice is not something that just grows off of a tree and you're supposed to have it. No, 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 no. Justice is something that's implemented from righteous people. That's what justice is. All right? The hands of the world has been given over to the wicked. The world has been given over to the wicked. The hands of justice have been cut off of their hands and their limbs. Or they in chains. All right? This is the real world around you. Nobody owes you anything, black man. If you want it, you got to take it. But of course you ain't going to take it because you're a little boy. Okay? You ain't taking nothing from your real massa. It's easy for you to go kill another black person because it's easy. Okay? That's easy for you to do. You're a coward. One of the worst kind, because you're a bully and a coward. You have fallen farther than you've ever been before. You don't consider God. You don't like him. You can't stand him. You don't ever want to hear nobody who talks about him. You'll shoot the person who tries to come and make peace with you concerning these righteous endeavors. And here you are, begging some white people for justice and crying in a courtroom. Nigga, you deserve to burn. I can't stand niggas like that. I can't stand you. You guys are just weak as hell and wicked as hell. Worse than you've ever been. And it's gonna get worse. Unfortunately, it's gonna get worse. But unfortunately, it's gonna get worse for the black people around you who want to do something constructive and positive. They gonna suffer right along with you. That's the bad part. Because other than that, I don't care nothing about y'all. Because you guys are way far beyond saving, in my opinion. You lucky the Most High got everlasting mercies. One that I can't even comprehend, because if it was up to me, you'd be done with a long time ago. I can't stand wickedness. Can't stand y'all wicked asses. Every single last one of you. Shooting babies, stealing, raping, robbing. You don't give a damn about nothing. What else? You should not covet your neighbor's wife. We already know in the music is nothing but covetous women, covetous men. We already know all of that. You guys is braggadocious about it. In fact, you get stripes for every sin that you commit that is against God's law. You give each other stripes for it. That's the beginning of your clout that you chase in the black community that you love so much. You know, black people are finished, man. Y'all through. From the gangbanger to the church member. All of y'all in iniquity. Mad disgraceful. You worship everything that Satan puts forth for you. You have no spiritual resistance to Satan. All of you have failed. And the few of you who left over that's trying to do something constructive, I suggest that you get the hell away from them, because they ain't gonna change. They are who they are. They made up their minds spiritually. A lot of them is just reincarnated souls waiting for judgment any damn way. See, this is the reason why in your family there's usually one righteous person for every like 15 to 30 of them that's going to drag you down and be contrary to everything that you say concerning the laws and the commandments in the book of the Bible. They ain't fit for this world. They love this world. This world is not your world. Jacob is the world that's going to follow this world. This world we live in currently, given to Satan. So you see all of them who are thriving in this world right now, those are the ones waiting for judgment. The ones who do not care about the laws of God and consider it, the ones who you got to push to be righteous, the ones who won't be righteous behind closed doors, this is their world. Ain't nobody righteous nowhere. Include me. And I'm trying to be. So you know how bad this stuff is. I'm going to go over here to Acts because I want to further make my point about black people and how they think they so holy and close to God. But before I do that, I'm going to read this right here. This is in 2 Chronicles. It's chapter 15. And I'm going to start with verse 2. And this is about the ways of God. This is a personality of God for those who care to listen, who want to understand a little bit of the personality of God and what he thinks about us and how he operates. Listen to this. It said, and he said to him, hear me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. This is your people he's talking about. The Lord is with you. Okay? The Lord is with you while you are with him. All right? If you seek him, all right, he will be found by you. If you seek him, he will be found by you. What? But if you forsake him, meaning if you forget about him, if you turn your back on him, he will forsake you. All right? This is God's personality. So don't be God will turn his back on you if you turn your back on him. So don't be asking questions about why don't God do this for me? Why didn't he do that? He's not something you just play with like a genie in a lamp. You can't just rub him every time you get ready to, just when you feel like you need something from him. It don't work like that. This is not a fool, and this is not a game. You're playing games with something that is beyond your comprehension. Don't play games with God. He ain't no fool. The thing is all of y'all is fools and ignorant and don't know what the hell you're playing with. Don't know what you messing with. You don't understand the spiritual realms. You don't want to understand them. So therefore, you're going to be more stooped in ignorance because you turn your back on God. He will turn his back on you. So you will be further confused because he knows your heart. A lot of Negroes in the black community talking about, well, God know my heart. God know my heart. That's an excuse I've been hearing for the last 25 years. And you know what? You're right. God does know your heart. That's why he's turning your back on you. He's turning his back on you. Right? And in addition to this, it also says here in chapter 3 of 2 Chronicles, chapter 3, for a long time it says, Israel has been without a true God. Okay? You are Israel. Whether you like it or know it or not, Negro, you are Israel. You haven't known God for a long time. This is what the Bible's saying. And why haven't you known God for a long time? Because you've been turning your back on him. This is for centuries. God without a teaching priest. We haven't had no real teachers for a long time. Up until now. We just now getting real teachers. All right. It started in the civil rights era. That's when we started getting the real teachers on the real stage. But the other ones have been hidden. They've been around, but they were not given a world stage to talk on. Because y'all had just come out of slavery and everybody was doing patents and, building up a black empire that they took and they strangled from us. Because as smart as we were, they still were not following God's laws. All right? It was only until we tried to get spiritual and follow the ways of God's laws that we got a little bit of leniency from the Most High, and he put us on the world stage so that we could all see what direction we're supposed to go. So it says here, but in their trouble they will turn to the Lord their God of Israel, and they sought him. He was found by them. And in those times, there was no peace to the one who went in, nor the one who came in. Talking about slavery, right out of slavery. But great turmoil was on all the inhabitants of the lands. So nation was destroyed by nation and city by city, for God troubled them with every adversity. All right. So we was traveling to and from and trying to seek the word of God. This is like a little bit before slavery, when we were considered around the world as Moors. Okay? We had a kingdom. We were in America. A lot of us were already in America, and we lost it because we're serving other guys and doing the things that I just described to you that we do in the black community today. All right? So that's important to know, because God is not playing with us. We are in our last captivity. We just came out of our last captivity, and we're not going back. This is not going back to the way it was. This whole worldwide lockdown is going to get worse. It's not going back to the way it was. And if it does, there's a whole new rule barrier that's going to be placed on greater confinement for the world. We're going to go back to work, but it's going to be greater confinement in the world. And they're going to get the children of Israel. The reason why this is all happening is because there's a critical number of us who are following the law, statutes, and commandments today. All right? This is all prophesized. It's not going to go back to the way it was and the way that you think it is, because they want full control. Okay? Because they know that they're losing their grip on the world. America is about to burn. All right? It's falling. It's about to burn. And they want to get a hold of it. All right? They're going to go out with a bang. They're going to lose this, but they're going out with a bang. And I mean a super bang, okay? It's going to be banging all over the place. But they're using the vaccinations and the coronavirus as a confusion to vaccinate and to kill off the numbers of the children of Israel, because they don't know exactly who the ones are who are following the commandments worldwide. So they got to kill all of us. They got to kill the young, the old, the middle ground, the women, the children, everybody. They're going to start killing them, all right? They're going to be in the hospitals. You already can't even be with your loved ones in the hospital now. They're going to have more control over who goes to work, who doesn't come to work. The black hoods are going to be just like the Gaza Strip, okay? And if you know anything about the Gaza Strip, you got to get your papers as you come in and out, all right? You will damn near have need a passport just to go to LA from San Diego. You know what I'm saying? Just to go from Chicago over there to Ohio. Mark my words, we are on lockdown and it's going to get worse. All right, now I'm going to continue with the book of Acts and further prove that black folks, you have been in transgression and in iniquity for quite some time. All right, you're getting judged. That's the reason why you're going through what you're going through, especially for the ones who are righteous. Righteous black people. If you want to understand the world around you, let's listen to see what you used to do in times past that you're paying for today. First, we'll start with the Messiah and how our people killed the Messiah. But we know that. We know black people did that. But let's look and see what they did to the disciples. This is in Acts. We're going to start with Acts chapter 3, verse 13. Now, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's your bloodline, okay? The God of our fathers glorified his servant Yeshua, who you ignorantly call Jesus, who you delivered up and denied in the presence of Pontius Pilate, when he was determined to let him go. He was going to let him go, but niggas wanted him killed, all right? But you denied the Holy One and the just, and asked for a murderer to be granted to you, right? So you wanted the murderer to get off, but you wanted Yeshua the Christ to be killed, and killed the Prince of Life. Killed him, all right? So y'all did that already, and you paying for that, all right? That's the apple of God's eye. We did that. Our people did that. The types that are in the hood today, the ones that are breaking the laws that I described to you, the ones all up in the wicked pastors, the wicked rappers, all of the people who are influenced by them, just a casual hood mentality, those niggas kill Christ. All right? Those type of niggas kill Christ, and they the same ones that are killing righteous black people in the neighborhoods today, and also killing each other. And they also are regenerated souls. They also start off as children too. All right? It's iniquity piled on top of iniquity, come back at the same time on planet Earth. The concentration of evil of the United States as Babylon means that you have parts of ancient Egypt and its wickedness come back here. Parts of Rome come back here. Okay? And all of the deities and the worship demonic souls and demonic spirits are come back to this planet for judgment. That's why they're back. That's why the world is getting more wicked and concentrated underneath the current system that we live in today. It's a concentration of wickedness. All right. Now, it says here in chapter 4 in Acts that being greatly disturbed. Now, this is Paul. I'm giving you Paul right now. This is Paul's life after niggas killed Christ. All right. This is what he had to deal with. Paul is an Israelite, black man, Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. This is what he had to go through. Just simply spreading the word amongst Negros. All right. In their black communities that were from Jerusalem, Italy, and also Greece. Okay. We lived in all those areas because we got kicked out of Israel because of our disobedience from times before them, and times had passed. From Nebuchadnezzar, like 400 years before, we had been gentrified way back then. For the same reasons that we gentrified and getting kicked around from our transgressions and iniquities to God today. All right, we still getting punished for repeating the same mistakes that we repeated 2,000 years ago. All the way back into the time of Moses. We ain't changed a bit. None of us. We ain't changed a damn bit. Ain't had a kingdom ever since then. We lost our kingdom and ain't been back to one since because we too damn wicked, too damn hard-headed, and we ain't learned our lesson. So don't be crying why there's a heaven and a hell. Listen, it says, the priest, the captain, and the temple, the Sadducees came upon them, being greatly disturbed. Now the Sadducees and the priest, these are all Negroes they talking about. All right, being greatly disturbed that they taught the people and preached in Christ's name. And, they was around here preaching the resurrection, all right, from the dead. And they laid hands on them and put them in custody. This is Negroes, right? Putting hands on the disciples and putting them in custody until the next day, for it was already evening. However, many of those who heard the word believed, and the number of the men came to be about 5,000. So among winning souls, they still had to put up with the transgressions and iniquities of the hater Negro race. And it came to pass on the next day that their rulers, the elders, these are all Negroes, the rulers and the elders, and the scribes, as was Annas, the high priest, Caiaphas, John, and Alexander, as many as were of the family of the high priest. So the Negro race had a family of high priests, okay, were gathered together at Jerusalem, our homeland. And when they sat with them in the midst, they asked them, by what power or by what name have you done this? Preaching in the name of the resurrection of Christ, right? These are Negroes who didn't even know that other Negroes had killed Christ. This is just Peter going around preaching the word in a different country where Negroes happen to reside, because that's what he was told to do by Christ before they killed him. Then Peter, filled with the Holy Spirit, said to them, rulers of the people and elders of Israel, if we this day are judged for a good deed done to a helpless man, by what means he has been made well, let it be known to you all, and to all the people of Israel, that by the name of Christ Yeshua of Nazareth, whom you crucified. See? Whom you crucified. Right? So he's schooling them on what their forefathers had done, right? So it reads here, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were uneducated and untrained men, they marveled, because you know how we are. If you don't come with $1,000 and a budget and a nice haircut, gold on your teeth or whatever, and a nice Cadillac, ain't nobody gonna respect what you gotta say anyway. Christ chose men who had character. He didn't care what you looked like. We always care what niggas look like when they come trying to help us out and speak the peace and speak some truth to us. First thing we looking at is that they got on alligator shoes, a nice designer jacket, a nice fresh haircut, a woman on their side, and something that we think is honorable amongst our people. That's what we look for today. We don't even know who to look for who's righteous. Because we sick. We sick people. All right? For indeed, that a notable miracle has been done through this, through them is evident. So, okay, we can see that y'all did some miracles. We can see that that's very evident. All right? But we're still looking at you like, you don't look like you got it like that. Because we don't care about the principles of anything. All right? We're still looking for the familiarities that white folks have sold to us about what progress is. Or not even what they have done. Just basically what we like to look for as what we think progress is. So it says here, let us severely threaten them, because they wanted them to stop doing these things in the name of Christ. They didn't care if there were miracles or not. They didn't give a damn. They just want things to stay the same. They said, let us severely threaten them, that from now on they speak of no man in his name. So they didn't want him to talk about Christ in his name anymore. They was like, we're sick of hearing this about Christ. We want to go back to the things that we was doing. Now, these is church people, priests, families of priests. We want to go back to church and do what we normally do. We don't want to hear about character. We don't want to hear about following the path of faith and righteousness that will bring you spiritual gifts, and that we follow these commandments and injunction to follow in faith. We don't want to hear none of that. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to threaten him. That's what we're going to do. This is their best thinking. Their best thinking in their ways of transgression and their fictional false righteousness brought them to think, hurt them, hurt these people. Because we don't want to hear them talking no more. We don't want them boldly coming in here with character and righteousness. This is the Negro family today worldwide. These are Negroes. The majority of the Negroes are like this. Listen up. It says, so they called them and they commanded them not to speak at all, nor teach in the name of Christ anymore. But Peter and John said to them, whether it is right in the sight of God to listen to you more than to listen to God, or you judge. For we cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard, meaning the walk of Christ. We can't deny what we've seen and heard, so we're going to keep talking. That's what they said. So when they had further threatened them, they let them go, finding no way to punish them because of the people, since they all had glorified God for what had been done. They saw the miracle. The crowd saw the miracle. It looked like they was interested in on their team. But the black people who are in power were like, damn, we can only threaten them. We can't do nothing to them right now. Let them go. This is Negroes worldwide, especially in America, though. Even though Christ died for the Israel family, we see how they treated his disciples and how they treated him in return. This is why you guys are going through what you're going through now. All right. This is the reason why you are begging for reparations. This is the reason why your situation has never gotten any better in America. All right. Because of your continual transgression towards spiritual principles. You don't care about spiritual principles, nor are you righteous all on your own. You're never righteous behind closed doors. It always takes somebody to be some kind of spiritual crack whipped on your ass just so you can be righteous, to push you along in that direction. Ain't nobody righteous on their own nowhere. And they certainly ain't giving up their life to be righteous among somebody else who's living in complete total iniquity, because it's always cool to flash ass and cash all day long. You know, that seems to be taking wind and has been solidified and has been that way for a long period of time with the Negro race of people in the black community. All right. So I don't want to hear about what your problems are. You guys have no room to complain about anything because you haven't done the responsible things. You never do the responsible thing. You never take initiative to turn this shit around. You never do. All right. So it goes further on to say, this is the Acts of the Disciples. All right. This is the book that Luke wrote when he saw what was going on in 3 different countries concerning the Negro race and what they were doing to God's chosen people who were here around trying to teach them, the disciples. It said on the next Sabbath, almost the whole city came together to hear the word of God. But when the Jews, every time it says the Jews, that's the Negroes, that's the black community. So when the black community saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy. Now, they were filled with envy because the multitudes were other races. Okay? There were other races of people coming around to get the message. And what did they do? They got envious and contradicting and blaspheming. Of course they was contradicting, because they didn't even believe in the message anyway. They just want to be special. They just want to be the one taken care of. They just want to be heard. Everybody